This is surprising. Dorian Thompson-Robinson will get the start. He is the 14th QB3, so the 14th third-string quarterback to start a game for the Browns in a season since 1999. The previous 13 third-string quarterbacks combined for a 1-12 record in their first starts. The only winner was P.J. Walker last year against the 49ers. All I can say is yikes. So you've been on the third-string quarterback 13 times since 99.
When I hear that certain names just flood, like Kevin Hogan or Connor Shaw or Thaddy Lou, like
Yeah.
it was always this like sacrificial goat we'd put out there in the last game of the season, typically against Pittsburgh. And it was like, okay, let's just see what happens. Throw this at the wall. And it never went well. But I'd say out of all these quarterbacks that we're talking about, Dorian Thompson-Robinson obviously has a lot of football in front of him, and we don't know exactly what he is. And in my mind, he's auditioning to be the backup. So we'll see how these last three games go. But out of all those names that flood my head, there are plenty, I would say DTR has probably got the highest ceiling of all those guys.
So offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey today talked about some of the subtleties in calling a game offensively for DTR.
At the end of the day, when it's time to compete, they're going to compete at a high level, and a lot of times those juices get flowing, for a guy like him. And it's, it definitely, you see that come out, but it's hey, let's play within the system. Let's trust our progressions, trust our reads, trust yourself, trust your guys around you, and good things will happen, So I think that's something that's going to be obviously new for me calling it with Dorian. I haven't called it with him except in the preseason, and just gain that feel of, all right, getting him into a rhythm as quickly as possible.
The thing I'm most curious about is something you kind of touched on relative to Jerry Jeudy. What do the receivers look like with Dorian Thompson-Robinson? They struggled with Deshaun Watson. They were better with Jameis Winston. What does the passing game look like?
I would say there'll be a substantial drop off. If you just look at the style of play, DTR's is way closer to Deshaun's, where he's going to drop back, probably a one read and scramble and try to make something happen, as opposed to Jameis, who's at least going to drop back and go through progressions, take more chances. Things are definitely more explosive vertically. I think under DTR, it's going to be a much more ball controlled type of thing where you're just trying to get first downs and try to sustain drives. A lot of that's going to be done with his legs. Obviously, the rushing attack takes a hit without Nick. We'll see what Jerome Ford looks like in a feature back role. But to me, this is more of a slog down. Just try to take opportunities away from Cincinnati by extending drives and maybe just ending a lot of these things in field goal range. I don't think you're going to be explosive. I definitely think Jeudy will have to take. He won't see the same amount of targets. If you think about the Cincinnati game, going into that week, you just traded away Amari Cooper. Stefanski comes out talking about how they're going to really try and incorporate Jeudy into the game plan. Deshaun gets hurt, and then DTR comes in. Jeudy did not see a single target until Jameis came in that final drive. So I don't think it'll be the same type of emphasis, even if it's in the game plan. I just think that the amount of attention Jeudy will garner will cause DTR to kind of go away from that. I look at probably 3-4 receptions, maybe 5 targets. So I don't think it'll look quite the same. Obviously, we don't know what Cedric Tillman, if he's going to be able to go. And Njoku looks like he might be doubtful. So I think this passing game takes a backseat to DTR's legs, and they'll just try to extend drives in that fashion.